MKUltra began in the 1950s as the CIA sought to keep up with the Soviet Union's advance in mind control technology. Today, we hear about MKUltra as it appears on conspiracy blogs and in videos, not unlike my own. How did the notion of mind control manage to bridge the gap between science fiction and a government-sanctioned reality? MKUltra was first launched during the heat of the Cold War, when the Soviet Union was suspected of using mind control to brainwash U.S. prisoners of war. The then director of the Central Intelligence Agency, Alan Dulles, approved the operation in 1953. Project MKUltra officially spanned over a decade as experiments were performed on nearly 200 documented participants, most of which were not consenting. One of the project's early notable experiments is Operation Midnight Climax. These experiments were mainly centralized to California and New York. During this operation, the CIA hired prostitutes to lure men to various safe houses, where men would be drugged and subject to electroshock therapy. CIA operatives would then observe their behavior when placed into a party-like setting. In 1975, President Ford set out to investigate illegal CIA activity on U.S. grounds after the New York Times published an article detailing non-consensual experiments the CIA had conducted on American citizens. The Church Committee was headed by Senator Frank Church and focused on exposing the darker works of the CIA, FBI, and other U.S. intelligence agencies alike. The committee uncovered plots to assassinate foreign leaders such as Fidel Castro and Patrice Lumumba, as well as countless MKUltra-related documents. In 1976, President Ford passed an executive order on the intelligence activities prohibiting experiments with drugs on human subjects except with the informed consent in writing and witnessed by a disinterested party of each such human subject. Declassified evidence indicates that Project MKUltra involved the use of many methodologies to manipulate individual mental states and alter brain functions, including the administration of drugs and other chemicals, sensory deprivation, isolation, and verbal and physical abuse. This process induces dissociation, an altered conscience, and natural response to extreme trauma, wherein an operative or handler is able to create a walled-off persona in the subject's psyche, which can then be programmed and triggered at will. Here's where we move away from the cold hard facts and venture into the land of speculation. Monarch mind control is a modern offshoot of Project MKUltra, and although there have been no official admissions of the practice, there is a copious amount of evidence that suggests MKUltra is just as active today as it was at the project's conception. Those under Monarch mind control are tasked by organizations to carry out operations and perform specific assignments without question or even recollection of their actions. High-profile and notorious figures who have come forward with their experiences include, but are not limited to, American fashion model Candy Jones, actress Sela Amiri, and Robert F. Kennedy assassin Sirhan. MKUltra is no longer a secret and has been a prominent component of pop culture for far longer than its publicizing. Some notable examples of films and shows that reference MKUltra include Stranger Things, which incorporates illegal drug testing and sensory deprivation, Return to Oz, which has a scene of electroshock therapy, Black Swan, Alice in Wonderland, Labyrinth, and Coraline, which all focus on dissociation, as well as Get Out, which incorporates scenes of hypnotic suggestion and altered personas. MKUltra sounds like a plot device for a futuristic sci-fi film or series, but is all too real. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Dark History. Subscribe for updates and be sure to comment your thoughts and feelings